Hi everyone, welcome back again to my YouTube channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how to make this beautiful kimono jacket that has drawstrings on the side. So the blue was my inspiration, as you can see, and then the black and brown was the one I made. So if this video is something you're interested in learning how to make, keep on watching, and if you're still yet to subscribe to my YouTube channel, please hit on the subscribe button and let's get started with this video. So guys, for you to be able to make this kimono just like it is in the beginning of the video, you need 3 yards of fabric. Okay, so I have 2 yards for the body and then the extra 1 yard for the band around the neckline and for the pockets. So what I have here now, I've already cut out 2 yards of it, which is what is here. This is what I'm going to be using for the body part. So I have it, I'm going to fold it first into two equal halves like I've done here. This is like the first two. You see, it's folded into two like this. So we have the part where you do not have any cut. So this part where there's no cut is where I'm going to be using as the shoulder area of this kimono. Okay, like I said, it's folded into two. So now I'm going to fold it again to make it a fold into four. So once you folded it into four, make sure it's well arranged on the sides here and make sure that the center, the upper part, and just basically every part is perfectly arranged. Okay, make sure that it's not folding inside. So once you're done arranging it into four, we're going to go ahead and iron this in place so that it will be easy for us to draft out on it. So now guys, this part is going to be serving as our center for this kimono, okay, for both the front and the back. Remember that we folded this into four. This will be serving as the shoulder and then this is the side. So I'm going to go ahead and draw out the neckline. We're going to be using the back neckline for now, okay. For the neck depth, I'm going to come down by 1.5 inch, so I'll mark it here, and then from the center I'll go in by 3 inches for the neck width. So I'm just going to connect the two of them into a little round neckline. Now remember I said it that this upper part is going to be the shoulder. Now from this shoulder on the side, I'm going to measure down by how wide I want the sleeve opening to be. Now because this is a kimono, you can actually afford to let it be wide. So for me, I marked it at the 12 inches point and I'm just marking a straight line a little bit into the body of the dress. So now from the center, I'm going to go in by my hip measurement divided by 4. Remember that this fabric is folded into 4. I'm using my hip measurement because that's the biggest part of my body. If your bust measurement is bigger, go ahead and divide your bust measurement by 4. Now from this point, I'm going to add extra inches. So I decided to add extra 6 inches for ease because this kimono is supposed to be free. So now I added extra 6 inches and I connected from the armhole to meet that 6 inches point, and I'm taking it all the way to the end of the fabric. So this is the neckline here, this is the sleeve area, and then this is the body. I hope you guys understand what I've done here. So for the end, I'll just draw a straight line across this end, and that's basically all. Now you can decide to measure the length you want if you want it to be shorter, but for me, I made use of the full length I have here, which is just basically 36 inches. And right now, I'm going ahead to just cut out on the white lines I just made. So now the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is to open this up. Notice that if you cut out your kimono in this particular method, the shoulders are going to be together. So you don't have to actually stitch the shoulders together again. So I'm picking one side that I'm going to be turning to the front. So I just picked one side, folded it into two like this. You see the neckline is round together like this. So I'm going to be changing this neckline into the front. So I'm just basically opening it up from the shoulder. I'm just going down all the way to the end. So now this opening now makes this part of the kimono the front. So when I hold it down from the shoulder now, you can see what it looks like. So this way you have actually removed like more than 3 inches from the front, so the opening in front is going to be quite wide. So by the time you add the band around the neckline, it will actually make up for what you've taken out. Okay, so don't bother about it. So this is what it's looking like right now. You can see the sleeve area. This fabric is very colorful. I actually hope that you guys are even seeing what I have here. Now for the band around the neckline, I'm going to be using a band of about 2.5 inches. I want it to be about 2.5 inches by the time I'm done. So I'm going to fold this fabric into two like this to cut it out. I will use like 3 inches as it's folded like this and just cut out like two of it. So after cutting out two pieces, this is what I have. Okay, I've joined the two pieces together to make it longer. So this was where I did my joining. So this is what I have here. I cut out two pieces because I know it's going to be long enough to go around the neckline. And remember that this is folded into two. Now this is the kimono that we are going to be placing the band around the neckline. So if you like, you can actually measure all the way around the neckline from one end of the front to the other end of the front through the back neckline. So from here all the way through to this side and then all the way through to this other end. This is where you're going to be placing the band. So I went ahead to measure mine, although I already knew what I had was going to be enough, but I just went ahead to measure it again just to show you guys where you need to measure. So as you can see, the whole measurement is longer than my tape. So I'll start from where it stopped again and then measure to where it ended. So I had a full tape and 22 inches. And this band I have here is going to be enough for just that. So guys, from one end of the front, I'm going to place the band and just arrange it through all the way around the neckline, the back neckline, and then back to like the front part. Okay, just like I'm doing like this. You can pin it down first. So I'm just going to go ahead and stitch it all the way around on the sewing machine. So once you're through with that, go ahead and overlock the ends. So guys, I'm done stitching it around the neckline now. Although the fabric is so colorful that you can barely see it, but this is what it looks like after I was done stitching it around the neckline. So this is the back. So after stitching it around the neckline, another thing I went ahead to do was to stitch the sleeve area. So I folded the sleeve area and stitched it down, as you can see. Now I'm also going to head over to the sewing machine and stitch down the ends. Normally I'll stitch down the side first, but because of the drawstrings, we need to be able to create casing for the drawstrings. I'm going to stitch down the ends first. So I'll just fold it by about half inch on the two front pieces and also on the back. I've stitched down the ends now, as you can see. So I also did the same thing for the other side of the front as well. So now what I'm going to do is to turn everything over to the wrong side so that I will be able to arrange the sides properly and we'll go over to the sewing machine and stitch down the sides. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stitch it down from here all the way to the end like this with 1 inch. 1 inch of stitching allowance. So I'll stitch it all the way through the armhole and I'm going to be doing the same thing for the other side as well. So I'll start from the sleeve area all the way to the end of the kimono like this. Make sure it is 1 inch of stitching allowance. So guys, after stitching it down, this is what it looks like on this side and it's just the same thing on the other side as well. So this is what it will look like. So guys, the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do now is to work on the drawstrings that are going to be on the side. So you're going to be using the stitching allowance on the side. That was why I told you guys to make sure that you have 1 inch for stitching allowance. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and iron the stitching allowances I have here open on the ends. So we are going to be placing the strings on this side. I've gone ahead to cut out my strings. Basically, I just folded my fabric into two to get like this string. You can use a bias if you want to. And the length of each string I have here is 18 inches. I cut out 4 of them. Now, if you want yours to be longer, you can make it more than 18 inches. So I'll be placing the string under the stitching allowance like this. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and place the string here like this. Okay, I'll do the same thing for the other side, but we'll need to measure out how long we want the ruchness to be. So now guys, for the length of my ruche, I'm going to be coming up by 10 inches and I'll make a mark here with my chalk at the 10 inches point. So I'll make sure that the string underneath the allowance is exactly on that point I just marked. So I'll make sure it's inside and I'll place the other one as well from the inside. Make sure it's exactly on this mark that we've drawn out. Okay, so now I'm going to head over to the sewing machine and make a top stitch to secure the the strings underneath, and then I'll sew on the side. While sewing on the side, I'm going to make sure that I don't sew into the string, and I'm going to do the same thing on this other side. I will stitch the top and then stitch the sides, making sure I don't mistakenly stitch on the string itself. So by the time I'm done, we cannot pull on it to give us that gather effect on the side. So guys, this is what I had after I was done stitching it down. You can see what I have here. Okay, I was trying to show you guys and it actually went outside of the camera. But anyways, you cannot pull on it, and you see that it actually stay ruched, and you cannot tie the ends. It's the same thing I have on the other side. So this is what we have on the other side. You're just going to pull on it and then tie up the strings. That, like I said earlier, if you want the ropes to be longer, you can make it longer than 18 inches when you're cutting it out. But this is what the side is looking like right now. So the last thing we are going to be doing here now is to attach the pocket. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it out and explain to you guys. So guys, these are the fabrics I'm going to be using for the upper part. I already folded the tops here. Now after folding the top, what I have is 9 inches on this side, and on this other side I have 8 inches. So by the time I'm done stitching this down, I will use about ½ inch on both sides to stitch it down, and ½ inch on the end to stitch it on my fabric, on my dress actually. So now let's bring the dress over. Let me show you guys where you're going to be placing it. This is very simple. This my fabric today is very beautiful for a kimono, but I just realized now as I'm trying to edit that it is so hard to actually differentiate the lines where you sew and everything. It just blends together. So anyways, from the shoulder, for you to determine how long your pocket will start from, I came down by 18 inches. Okay, and then from the center of the front I came in by 3 inches. So from the top, come down by 18 inches, come in by 3 inches from the center, and then place your pocket on that point. So you are going to head over to the sewing machine and just use ½ inch to stitch the pocket down on the side and also on the end. You'll be stitching only on the front piece, okay, and we'll be doing the same thing for the both sides. So I'm done with everything now, and this is what it looks like. You can see the drawstrings on the side. This will definitely look better when it's worn. And this is the neckline area that I was showing you guys earlier. So thank you so much for watching this. I hope that you find the video helpful. If you're still here to subscribe to my channel, please hit on the subscribe button, and I'll be seeing you guys in my next tutorial. Bye.